Now next we are going to talk about techniques of coping with stress. How are you going to deal with the stress which are there in your life? Life without stress is not possible. You will experience stress at every given point of time in your life. The intensity and extensiveness of stress are so harmful for our health that it disturbs and disintegrates the whole existence of a person. Sometimes the level of stress is so high, sometimes the stress goes on in our life for such a long period of time that it harms us a lot. No, it does not even harm ourselves, but it disturbs us, and what we are as a person completely changes because of stress. Therefore, we have to learn how to pacify or how to cope up with the stress. So it is very important how we deal with the stress and how do we reduce the effect of stress. To cope with or to avoid negative effect means to make attempts to satisfy the environmental demands. So in order to avoid negative effects of the stress, you have to make sure that you satisfy all the demands which are there in the environment, that are there in the society around you. There are several techniques for dealing with stress. Every individual has his own unique style of dealing with stress. There are different ways, there are different methods through which you can deal with stress, and it changes from person to person. The way I deal with a stress is different from the way you deal with a stress. It is surprising that despite of all the stresses one goes through, high or low intensity, one generally does not succumb or show the sign of the breakdown. So it is very surprising that you might be experiencing stress, I might be experiencing stress. It might be high, it might be low, it might be for a short period of time, it might be for a long period of time, but we do not show the breakdown of us as a person to the society that we live in. You will not know by looking at my face that I am in stress. I will not know by looking at your face that you are in stress. So we don't break down in the society because that is how we are brought up. You can't cry in public. You can't talk about your problems to everyone. So breakdown or mentally breaking down completely, crying, yelling, all those things, we do not do it in public. And that is why most importantly people do not show the sign of stress, because we do not show emotions to other people. People to cope effectively with the stresses continually examine their environment, both internal and external. He or she tries to search what opportunities or challenges or dangers may be present and learn new skills to adapt to the changes coming in the life. In addition, there are several personality dimensions like optimism, detachment, hardiness, unchangeable trust for the goal, etc., which reduces or moderates the negative effect of stress. So what are they saying is that whenever in the society, whenever in the environment faces up with challenges, faces up with the situation which are harmful, we learn new skills, we learn new techniques in order to accept that challenge, in order to accept that stress, and we deal with that stress in order to reduce the effect of stress on us. For example, right now in the society we have coronavirus, which is a big, huge challenge for us. So what are we doing? We are adapting new skills of wearing the mask, of maintaining social distance, of sanitizing our hands. Why? In order to reduce the negative effect of the stress. Now there are also personality, from a person to person, from person's personality to personality, the way you deal with the stress changes. Let us say I am a person who is very, very optimistic. Optimistic meaning I am very positive person. I don't keep any sort of attachments meaning હું કોઈ વસ્તુથી બહુ લગાવ ન રાખું, or I am very hard working, I am not changeable, I have full trust in my goal, I have set the ways in which I can achieve my goal, then I will be able to reduce the negative effects of stress. For example, let's say I am a very positive person. I am in 12th standard. I say, okay, I am going to get 80% in my board exams this year, whatever happens. So I am optimistic. Okay, 80 तो आवी जैसे, 80 नहीं तो चलो कोई नहीं, 75 तो आवी जैसे. So I am a very optimistic person. I don't have any attachments to it. Let's say I am not emotionally attached to that thing. Next is I am very hard on myself. I study. I don't change myself. I keep myself focused. Try to study from the first day of the school. And I have trust in me that yes, I will be able to achieve that goal. then the negative effect of that stress will slowly reduce. Generally, when a person is confronted with a new problem or demand, initially he tries to define it, evaluate it, understand how far is it harmful or beneficial. Whenever you are faced with a new problem or whenever you are faced with a new challenge, first you try to see what the problem is. You try to understand the problem, you try to define the problem, okay? You try to evaluate meaning you try to judge the problem. You try to see how far is this problem going to harm me, how far is this thing going to benefit me. It is important that evaluation of the problem is realistic. It is very important that we judge the problem in the real way. Let us say that I am faced with a thing wherein I got less marks in my exams. Okay? So I don't have to sit with that thing. Okay, fine, I got less marks in my exams, so I will get bad marks in my boards, I am going to fail my board exams. So that problems are unreal. You're trying to imagine something which is not happened yet, okay, and you are causing more stress in your life. So you have to evaluate, you have to judge your problem in a real sense. For example, okay, I got bad marks in my exams. Fine, why did I get bad marks? Okay, because I did not study well. Why did I not study well? Because I was not concentrating in class. Okay, next thing, I did not complete my syllabus. So next time when the exams come, I am going to pay attention in the class, ask doubts, keep my notes ready, try to understand each and everything, ask ma'am doubts, and that is how I will improve my exams results. So that is a real way of solving the problem. That is the real way of reaching a particular goal. Okay. The next he thinks that the next he thinks is what to do about the problem. To arrive at the solution of this problem, he formulates new course of action and interferes with the best alternative. So I told you, right? The best thing he does is what the problem is. What are the solution to the problem? And what steps will the person take in order to solve these particular problems? Sometimes it may happen that the person has no time or chance even to make an evaluation or think about the problem. At that time, some of the coping action emerges into operations automatically and spontaneously. So sometimes what happens in life, we are so busy that sometimes we do not understand the problem, we do not try to know what the problem is, and at that point of time, this coping techniques or the way you deal with the problem comes into action. Okay? Such reactions which are a part of the survival mechanism is called built-in reactions. The way you react to your problem is your built-in. How your body is responding is different than how somebody else's body is responding to a problem. So what are they saying? That your body is built in a certain way to react to a particular problem. So automatically, whenever you are in a problem, your body is going to react to it. Okay? They come into action whenever there is a threat for survival. So our body will fight for survival whenever the body is in the problem. Whenever there is necessity to maintain and restore equilibrium, some of these physiological and psychological changes come into operation. So whenever the balance in our life gets harmed, the way our body reacts to the problem, the way we psychologically react to the problem, the body starts fighting for it. The body starts working towards fighting the problem. One such built-in mechanism is crying, which brings relief in pain and emotional strain. So what happens? One such reaction is crying. So whenever you cry, you are kind of relaxing yourself. So after you have finished crying, you will be able to think properly about the problem and try to solve it. There are many adopt certain strategies or techniques for relieving stress. So there are many methods, there are many ways through which you can lessen your stress. Some of which are natural and some of which are habitual. Some are learned. So they are saying a lot of these techniques are natural, which you are naturally are there. Some of them are habitual. Habitual meaning some of them are habits, some of them are learned, some of them you learn it. Some techniques are personal, individual and social. So some techniques are personal, some techniques changes from person to person, some techniques are common in the society on how you deal with stress. While using social strategies or techniques, the person needs help from others. So whenever you are dealing with the problem, whenever you are dealing with the problem in the society, you need help from the people who are around you in order to help you deal with the problem. So tomorrow we will do the coping reactions, which are divided into 3 broad categories.